Every American town has one house. People whisper about a house where the grass grows too fast, where no kids dare to play, where windows stare back at you like hollow eyes. At the end of Blackwood Lane stood one such house, and when Daniel and Emily moved in, they thought they had found their dream home, but dreams can quickly become unsettling. Daniel and Emily arrive at the house. The street is quiet, the lawns are trimmed perfectly, porch swings sway in the gentle breeze, sprinklers mist the sidewalks. Families barbecue and wave at each other. The camera stops on the house. Peeling paint, crooked shutters, dark windows, cracked walkway lined with weeds. Emily excited, finally Daniel, our first home. I can't believe this is real. Daniel tired but proud. Yeah, it's old but it has character, and hey, no more rent, no more landlords. This place is all ours. Emily walks to the porch, touches the wooden rail. A splinter snaps off in her hand. She frowns but forces a smile across the street. An old neighbor stands staring at them. He has thin, pale eyes fixed on the house. Emily waves, he lowers his head and disappears inside Emily. Uneasy. Well, that was strange. Daniel trying to laugh it off. Small towns. People are probably just protective of their space. Give it time inside the house. Boxes scatter, dust floats in the air. The wooden floor creaks. Wallpaper is faded, peeling at the corners. A faucet drips in the kitchen. Emily, it smells like mildew and dust. Daniel chuckling, that ace just old house smell. Once we clean it up, it'll feel like home. They unpack, hours pass. Night falls. A single lamp glows in the corner. They sit on the floor eating takeout surrounded by boxes. Emily cheerful but tired. I always dreamed about this moment. Our own house, eating dinner on the floor. Before we even set up furniture, Daniel raising his soda can to new beginnings. They clink cans. The camera shows the house from outside. Most windows are dark, except one faint glow. A shadow passes an upstairs window. Bedroom, night mattress on the floor. Emily and Daniel lie under blankets. The house is silent. Then a faint creak. Another heavy footsteps echo above in the attic. Emily whispering, "Daniel, do you hear that?" Daniel half asleep. Probably the house settling. Its old wood expands at night. The footsteps grow louder, deliberate, one step another. Emily sits up, heart pounding. Emily terrified. That's not wood, that's someone walking. They hold their breath. Silence, then faintly like a child humming a soft tune drifts down from the attic. The sound cuts off sharply. Emily grabs Daniel's arm. Daniel forcing calm. "I'll check in the morning, we're exhausted." He pulls her close, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. The camera tilts to the attic door. Faint outline glowing in moonlight. Morning sunlight. Emily yawns, walks barefoot down the hallway. She freezes. Eyes widen across the wooden floor, muddy footprints, small, barefoot, child-sized Emily trembling. "Daniel, come here now." Daniel rushes out, kneels, touches the wet mud in the cracks. Daniel confused, this doesn't make sense. We locked every door, windows too. The prints lead down the hall, past the stairs into their bedroom, stopping beside their bed. Emily, voice breaking. "They were here, Daniel. Someone was watching us while we slept." The camera zooms on the last footprint. Faint child, giggle echoes, sending a shiver down their spine. Screen cuts to black. Daniel sits in the town library. Dusty shelves tower around him. He flips through old newspapers on microfilm. His eyes narrow as he stops at a headline from 1974. Family vanishes. Without a trace, police baffled, he leans closer. A black and white photo of the house flashes. A smiling family of 4 stands on the porch. A father, mother, teenage son, and little girl clutching a stuffed rabbit. Daniel reading aloud. The Miller family disappeared overnight. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. Bodies never found. He exhales sharply, rubbing his face. A librarian passes behind him, pausing when she notices the article on his screen. Her expression darkens. "You're living there, aren't you?" Daniel startled. "Excuse me, that house should have stayed empty. People don't just vanish, they get taken." She walks away quickly, refusing to meet his eyes. Daniel stares after her, unsettled back at the house night. Emily folds laundry in the bedroom. Suddenly, the lights flicker. The radio in the corner turns on by itself, crackling with static through the static. A faint child voice sings "Ring Around the Rosy Pocket Full of Posies." Emily drops the clothes, backing up. The static cuts off silence. Then a loud crash echoes from the hallway. She runs out. A picture frame has fallen. The photograph inside smeared as if someone dragged fingers across it from the inside. Emily shaking. This isn't happening. It's not real. Behind her, a shadow darts across the wall. She whirls. Nothing. Days later, Emily sits at the kitchen table, pale, exhausted hands trembling as she stirs a cup of coffee. Daniel walks in, worried. "You haven't been sleeping. Talk to me." "Emily, what's happening?" When I close my eyes, I see a little girl. She stands at the end of the hallway holding a rabbit. She keeps asking me to play. Daniel frowns, reaching for her hand. It's stress moving, unpacking this house. It's messing with our heads. Emily looks up. Her voice changes, suddenly deeper, not her own. "You shouldn't be here." Daniel jerks back, eyes wide. Emily blinks, confused, her normal voice returning that night. A banging noise echoes from below. Daniel grabs a flashlight. Emily follows reluctantly. The wooden stairs creak under their weight, basement damp walls covered in mildew. At the far end, a wall doesn't match the others, newer bricks uneven. Daniel runs his hand across it. This wall was built later. It's hiding something. He finds a crowbar prise at the edge. Bricks crumble. A cold wind pours out. Emily covers her mouth. Behind the wall is a narrow, hidden room. Daniel shines the flashlight. Inside, the beam lands on a small, dust-covered rocking horse. Broken dolls scattered on the floor. A tiny bed with decayed sheets. Crayons litter the corners on the wall, scratched into the plaster over and over. 2 words, "Still here." Emily screams. The flashlight flickers. The sound of children laughing echoes all around, high-pitched, overlapping, unnatural. The rocking horse moves on its own, creaking back and forth. Emily crying, pulling Daniel close. "Close it back up. Please, let's go." Daniel drops the flashlight in shock. The beam spins wildly, catching a glimpse of something in the corner of the hidden room. The shadow of a family standing together, watching them. Screen cuts to black silence. Then a child's whisper, "Don't leave us." Screen fades in from black. The house looms in the dark. Lightning flashes across the sky. Rain pours, thunder rattles the windows. The sound of whispers fills the air, rising and falling like a storm of voices. They could have left. They could have run and never looked back. But the house doesn't let go so easily once it has you. It keeps you, and Daniel and Emily were already too deep inside its grasp. Daniel and Emily sit in the living room, pale, exhausted. Across from them sit 2 paranormal investigators. A man and a woman. Equipment cases surround them. Cameras, EMF detectors, recorders. You've experienced physical manifestations, objects, moving, voices, even possession symptoms. This isn't a residual haunting. It's intelligent and it's dangerous. So what do we do? We'll document tonight if we can confirm an active presence. We'll recommend immediate evacuation. Houses like this, they don't just want to scare you. They want to keep you. The investigators set up cameras and sensors around the house. The lights dim. The rain outside intensifies. Night falls. The team sits in silence, watching monitors. A static hum fills the speakers. Suddenly, one camera in the basement flickers. A shadow darts across the frame. Then another. Then 4 shadows standing together. Multiple entities detected in the basement. Human forms, possible family unit. The EMF meter spikes. Violently, lights burst, plunging the room into darkness. Emily screams. The investigators scramble with flashlights. A deep, groaning noise echoes through the walls, as if the house itself is alive. "We have to get out now before anyone can move." A force slams the basement door shut. The sound of heavy footsteps rises from below, shaking the floorboards. A child's giggle echoes through the living room. The investigators run for the front door. It won't open. One pounds desperately, shouting. An invisible force lifts him off the ground, hurls him against the wall. The other drags him out. Once the door bursts open, they flee into the storm, leaving Daniel and Emily behind. Emily crying, "They left us. Oh God, they left us." The house grows silent. Emily shakes, staring at the ceiling. "They're here, Daniel. They never left. The Miller family are still here." Stop, Emily, fight it. This isn't you. Her eyes roll back white. Her mouth opens, the voice that comes out is layered male, female, child. All speaking at once. We lived here, we are still here, and now so are you. Daniel staggers back horrified. Emily collapses, gasping. He runs to the basement, driven by desperate need for answers, pushes the hidden door open again. The rocking horse creaks. Shadows flicker on the walls. He shines his flashlight into the corner. The Miller family stands, pale, eyes hollow, smiling. The father steps forward, speaking in a low, chilling tone. You've taken our place. The house chooses who stays. It chose us once. Now it chooses you. Daniel stumbles back. The family advances slowly, movements jerky, unnatural. The little girl drops her stuffed rabbit. It hits the floor with a heavy thud. Daniel rushes upstairs, grabbing Emily by the hand. They race to the attic, footsteps chasing them. The attic door slams shut behind them. The room filled with old furniture covered in sheets. Cobwebs dangle from the beams. Emily suddenly stops struggling. Face softens eerily. Calm. They just want a family again. Daniel, don't you see we can give them that? No, Emily, fight it, this isn't you. Her smile widens, unnatural. She pulls her hand from his grip, walks toward the corner. Shadows of the Miller family emerge, surrounding her. She kneels beside the little girl, who takes her hand. Emily begins humming the lullaby they heard on the first night. Daniel screaming, Emily, don't. He tries to rush forward, but an invisible force pins him the wall. The Miller father steps close, face inches from Daniel. You don't belong here, but she does. The attic light flickers violently. Emily's voice, soft, distant, sings the lullaby with the children. Daniel's screams fade. The camera zooms into the darkness around the family. Morning sunlight on Blackwood Lane. The house looks peaceful. Birds chirp, a for sale sign sways in the yard. The old neighbor peeks through his curtains, eyes filled with dread inside the house. Dusty air moves slightly. Curtains sway. The rocking horse in the corner moves subtly. Dolls on the floor seem to watch every step. The light flickers. A faint glow emits from the hidden wall. In the basement, a real estate agent walks up the driveway, oblivious to the rumors, fog curling around her ankles. She pushes open the creaking door as she steps inside. The air grows cold and thick shadows cling to the walls. Curious and nervous, she finds the narrow door once pried open. It reveals the hidden room inside. The air is damp and filled with the scent of mildew. The tiny bed still holds decayed sheets. The walls are scratched with the words. Still here, the agent shivers. The whispers grow louder. The soft lullaby hums from nowhere. The shadows lengthen across the floor, moving as if alive from the corner. A faint silhouette of a little girl appears. She holds a stuffed rabbit, eyes hollow and black. She beckons the agent closer with a slow hand movement. You belong here. She whispers in a voice layered with hundreds of echoes. The agent steps back. Her heart pounds, the air thickens with the scent of old wood and damp fabric. The faint hum of children playing drifts through the room. The rocking horse creaks forward slightly. The dolls turn their heads, following her every move. The shadows shift closer, making the room feel impossibly small. Suddenly, the agent notices a photograph on the shelf. Smiling family of 4. Daniel, Emily, the Miller father, and the little girl, all together, smiling unnaturally bright. A chill runs down her spine. She hears faint whispers close behind, saying they are waiting for you. The fog outside thickens, as if the house is breathing, slowly expanding. The agent feels a pull towards the hidden room, a compulsion she cannot resist. She takes a step closer. The little girl reaches out, hand extended, beckoning her into the shadows. The air fills with faint laughter, echoing as if from multiple directions. At once, the agent feels herself losing balance, her mind dizzy with a sense of being watched. The room seems to grow larger, stretching impossibly high. The ceiling vanishes into darkness. Floorboards creak beneath invisible weight. Walls breathe subtly as if alive. Suddenly, the photograph glows faintly. The faces of the family shift ever so slightly. Eyes dark, hollow, smiling wider than possible. The agent freezes, heart hammering. The whispers grow louder. Overlapping voices repeating, "Come, stay forever." The rocking horse begins to rock faster. Creaking rhythmically, dolls topple over one by one. Shadows gather closer, forming indistinct shapes moving fluidly across the floor. A single candle flickers into existence on the floor light, casting long, twisting shadows on every wall, the air heavy with expectancy. The little girl steps forward. Silence falls around her tiny form. She tilts head and whispers softly. Yet thousands of voices overlay each word. "Join us." The agent feels a cold touch on her shoulder. Spins around nothing, their heart racing. She turns back to the room, but the photograph now shows empty space where the smiling family once was. A low hum begins to build within the walls. The air vibrates. The agent feels herself pulled forward step by step into the hidden room. The shadows swirl around, forming a whirlpool of darkness, sound of lullabies overlapping, children, laughing, crying, whispering together, filling the room. The candle flickers violently, lights burst and die, leaving only darkness. Then faint moonlight filters through cracks, illuminating the little girl holding her rabbit, staring silently, waiting. The agent stands, trembling, unable to speak. A soft voice whispers from nowhere. They are waiting. The agent stands frozen in the hidden room, the little girl holding her rabbit, eyes hollow. Black, staring silently, the shadows swirl around, forming shapes that seem almost human, yet distort and twist unnaturally. She takes a hesitant step forward. The whispers grow louder, voices overlapping, calling her name, beckoning her deeper into the room. The air thick with dampness and a cold that seeps into her bones. Suddenly, the floorboards beneath her feet groan loudly. The walls seem to breathe subtly, as if the house itself is alive. The rocking horse rocks violently, dolls on the floor topple, creating a chaotic rhythm echoing through the room. The candlelight flickers back into existence, casting long, twisted shadows. The agent feels invisible, eyes tracking every movement, her heartbeat racing uncontrollably. The little girl tilts her head slowly and whispers, "Join us again." Layered voices overlapping and echoing from every corner of the room. The agent feels a force pulling her toward the far corner of the hidden room. As she resists, a shadowy hand seems to brush her shoulder. A chill runs down her spine. She spins around, nothing there. Only darkness and faint outlines of shapes. Moving just beyond clear vision, the photograph on the shelf glows faintly. The family smiling faces shift and stretch unnaturally, staring directly at her. The little girl steps closer, hand outstretched, beckoning her to come closer. Suddenly, a distant echo of Daniel and Emily's voices pierces the room, calling for help. The agent freezes, the whispers pause briefly. A faint hum of the lullaby drifts through the air, chilling yet inviting. She feels herself moving forward involuntarily, her feet carrying her closer to the corner. The little girl smiles faintly. Shadows of the Miller family coalesce around her, forming a semicircle, silently waiting. The candle flickers violently. Shadows stretch and twist, enveloping the agent in darkness. The air vibrates with a low humming tone. The walls seem to pulse around her. The little girl leans closer, her voice soft, layered, thousands of echoes. "Stay with us forever." The agent feels herself sinking to her knees, the pull stronger now, as if invisible hands are dragging her toward the shadows. The floorboards creak under imaginary weight. The dolls rock back and forth rhythmically, creating a hypnotic cadence. A sudden flash of light from the hidden room doorway reveals the agent, pale eyes wide, trembling as she struggles to resist the pull. She sees faint outlines of Daniel and Emily in the shadows, barely visible. Beckoning her to run the room, expands impossibly high, shadows reaching the ceiling. The air thickens, hard to breathe, the hum of voices rising crescendo, echoing inside her mind. Suddenly, all sound cuts off. Silence so heavy it presses on her chest. She feels the cold touch of tiny hands grasping her wrist. She looks down. The little girl holding her rabbit stares up at her, expressionless. The whispers return, slowly, softer now. Insistent, persistent, coming from the shadows. "Come, stay, never leave." The agent struggles, pulling free. Her mind racing, heart pounding. The shadows ripple like liquid across the floor walls, twisting around her vision, distorting space. She steps back slowly, dragging feet over uneven floorboards. The photograph glows again. Faces of the Miller family, shifting, grinning, wider than possible eyes. Hollow black, staring directly at her. She feels their gaze penetrating every part of her being. The rocking horse creaks. Violently, shadows swirl faster. forming almost a vortex around the little girl. The dolls topple and roll toward her, creating a chaotic path. She takes a step back. Stumbling, the agent reaches the narrow doorway leading out of the hidden room. Fog spills slightly from outside the room. Air heavy with dampness. Whispers rising as if reaching through the walls, trying to pull her back. She pauses at the threshold, a faint echo of Emily's humming drifts through the air. Then a loud creak from above the attic seems to respond. Shadows in the room twitch in sync with the sound. The little girl tilts her head, holding the rabbit tightly, then slowly steps aside, leaving a narrow path leading to the doorway. The whispers lower just enough for the agent to hear herself breathing. She takes a trembling step forward. The shadows part slightly. The candle flickers violently, light casting moving shapes across walls. She stumbles forward, dragging her feet across the warped floor, the air thick with anticipation. Suddenly, the little girl raises her hand. The shadows freeze in place for a heartbeat. Silence so heavy it almost hurts. The agent feels a tug in her mind, an invisible hand trying to stop her, leaving a shiver down her spine. With all her strength, she forces one final step forward, crossing the threshold of the hidden room. The shadows ripple and twist behind her, the whispers echo, fading slowly into distant hum. The door creaks closed behind her. She leans against the door, gasping for breath, her heart racing. She looks back through the crack. Faint shapes linger in the darkness for a moment before fading completely, leaving only the smell of old wood and mildew. The agent stands trembling in the main hallway of the house, moonlight filtering through cracked windows, illuminating peeling wallpaper and dust motes floating gently. The air seems lighter, yet a lingering unease remains outside. The storm begins to calm, rain dripping softly from the gutters. The house stands silent except for faint whispers carried through the walls like distant echoes of the past. The agent slowly moves through the hallway, every step, careful eyes, scanning corners. She reaches the front door, pushes open, creaking. Slowly, stepping outside, the fog curling around her ankles, the night quiet except for distant rustling in the trees. She glances back one last time, the windows dark, the shadows of the Miller family nowhere to be seen. But the sense of being watched remains, a chill running through her. A faint, soft lullaby drifts through the air. She shivers, pulls her coat tighter, fog swallowing the house slowly as if it never existed. The whispers echo, fading behind her. The agent turns and walks down Blackwood Lane. Heart still racing, mind filled with images of the house, the little girl and the shadows. The wind whispers softly through the trees, carrying remnants of the voices that will never leave. She disappears into the night. The house looms silently behind fog creeping along sidewalks. Windows, dark eyes watching, waiting for the next family to come. The sun rises slowly over Blackwood Lane, the fog lingering low across the lawns. The house stands silent, windows dark, its presence looming yet serene to the outside world. The wind rustles the leaves, carrying faint whispers that seem to come from nowhere inside the attic. The photograph of the smiling family glows. Faintly, shadows flicker around it. The room eerily still except for the soft hum of a lullaby drifting through the air, as if replaying memories trapped within the walls far away in town. The agent returns home, heart racing, mind restless, images of the little girl, the Miller family, and the hidden room replaying in her thoughts. She tries to focus on normal life, but every shadow in her apartment seems to move slightly whenever she looks away. Meanwhile, at the house, night falls again. Blackwood Lane empty except for the whisper of wind through cracked shutters inside the living room. Two new figures approach cautiously, a young couple holding hands. They are unaware of the house's history, smiling nervously as they admire the exterior. As they step onto the porch, the wooden boards creak under their feet. The air grows inexplicably colder. A subtle hum begins from the house, faint at first, rising slowly, as if the walls are breathing around them. The front door seems to wait silently for them to step inside. Inside the hallway, the couple notices the familiar peeling wallpaper and faded photographs on the walls. The floorboards creak lightly beneath them, every sound amplified in the stillness they share. Nervous glances, unsure if it is imagination or something more. The living room lights flicker. Faintly, shadows dance across corners, moving independently. The faint sound of footsteps upstairs echoes down the hallway. The couple freezes, their hands tightening on each other. The air thickens almost tangible as whispers begin again, calling softly, invitingly from the attic. Curiosity mixed with fear leads them upstairs each step. Deliberate heartbeats loud in their ears. The hallway stretches impossibly long, the shadows stretching in unnatural directions, each window reflecting not their faces but faint blurred shapes behind them. They reach the attic door, the handle cold under their grip. A soft whisper drifts through the crack, the voice-layered male-female child, echoing and calling their names, inviting them to enter. They glance at each other, fear and fascination, battling for control inside the attic. The room is filled with sheets covering old furniture, cobwebs dangling from beams. The photograph glows on the shelf, the smiling family staring back at them. The rocking horse rocking slowly back and forth in the corner. The air filled with faint, overlapping hums of the lullaby. Suddenly, shadows rise from the floor, twisting and contorting into vaguely human shapes. They circle the couple, silently waiting, eyes hollow black. Staring directly at them, the temperature drops drastically, their breath visible in cold air. The little girl appears holding her stuffed rabbit eyes, hollow black. She steps closer, beckoning the couple softly. The whispers rising around them, urging them forward. Stay with us forever. Join us again. The air vibrating with unseen force. The couple tries to move backward. The shadows react almost sentiently, pushing them forward, invisible hands brushing against their skin, pulling gently but insistently toward the center of the room. The rocking horse creaks violently, dolls, rolling across floor-blocking paths of escape. A sudden flash of light from outside illuminates the room for a heartbeat, revealing faint outlines of Daniel and Emily among the shadows. Pale, hollow, smiling, silently watching the scene unfold. Their presence a warning and a lure at once. The couple struggles against the pull, but each resistance only strengthens the shadows. Their movements jerky, unnatural yet coordinated, a wave of whispers enveloping the room, calling enticingly layered voices repeating over and over. The little girl steps forward, the rabbit clutched tightly, eyes piercing. Their gaze, she whispers softly. Layered voices stay forever. They feel their feet lifting off the floor, pulled by invisible hands. The hum of the lullaby crescendos, disorienting their senses. The photograph flickers bright, then dim shadows of the Miller family towering over them, silently approving. Suddenly, the attic door slams shut behind them, plunging the room into near darkness. Only the photograph glowing faintly, the rocking horse moving alone. The whispers echoing louder than ever far outside Blackwood Lane. The fog swirls around the house, wrapping it tightly as if sealing it from the world. The wind carries faint lullaby hums merging with whispers, the trees bending slightly toward the house as if listening inside the attic. The couple is motionless, suspended, almost weightless in the center of the room, shadows converging closer. The little girl steps to the photograph, placing the rabbit beside it. The shadows ripple. The lullaby softens slightly, but the sense of finality hangs heavy. A faint click resonates through the room. The photograph snaps to focus on the couple. Their reflections, blending with the images of the Miller family in the glass for a moment, they see themselves smiling alongside the ghostly figures as if welcoming them into the house. The candlelight flickers violently. One last time, shadows compress into corners, retreating, yet still watching the couple. The little girl tilts her head softly, then steps back into the darkness, the rabbit glowing faintly beside the photograph outside the street. Empty Blackwood Lane, calm yet hiding the house. Sinister heartbeat, the fog thick. Now hiding the ground, the wind carries faint whispers, lingering memories trapped inside. The walls waiting for the next family. Morning sunlight eventually seeps through the fog. Birds chirp, a soft wind rustles. Leaves, the house appears peaceful, windows reflecting the calm sky, nothing revealing the horrors within. Yet the photograph inside still glows faintly, shadows moving imperceptibly behind it, and so Blackwood Lane holds its secret. Once again, the house silent, eyes hollow, staring out, waiting, patient, watching, always ready to claim the next who dare step inside, never leaving its grasp, its whispers soft yet insistent, its lullaby eternal.